environment and the life of the people. So some numbers and some statistics are available for us to know that more than 600 millions of Africans, especially Africans, do not have access to, for instance, electricity. That is one of the energies. So we can also have other information on the energy generation in Africa. So there are researchers, reports that show the numbers on the generation of energy in Africa and even at the global level. At the global level, we have the part of Africa which is only 4% of energy generation. On the demand, we still have a high demand of energy, which is the projections show that the demand for electricity, for instance, in Africa is projected to be to triple by the year 2040. That is high compared to the generation of this energy. Now we can see the impact of this situation. We have, due to the lack of renewable and clean energy solutions, the Africa experienced indoor air pollution that caused 100,000 of premature deaths per year. Every year we experience this death, which is the data provided by the WHO in 2018. So we, among others, we also experience high level of deforestation and other environmental degradation situation. So now we have to argue, we have to discuss, and we have seen that around and across the world, experts argue on the socio-economic transformation of African countries, which will depend on the ability of to accelerate infrastructural development and industrialization. So we, as an impact, we also see that Africa pays a lot of money, directly or indirectly, as you can see on associated health impacts, and also on the productivity, especially for women. You know how much time women spend in using unsafe and unsafe energy, such as traditional cooking stove with wood and all that. So we also experience some loss of money in terms of climate change impact, and also the health challenges and diseases. Sorry. Again, we can just show the policy framework around in Africa and globally to deal with energy efficiency and clean cooking solutions. We can start with the African Union decisions, the head of states decisions to establish the Agenda 63. This Agenda 63 was established in 2013, just some months before the Sustainable Development Goals were established as a follow-up on the MDGs. This one has given an important opportunity to incorporate, referring to the Agenda 63, which was just paving the way of creating some voices to influence the SDGs. And this happened in 2015 when the SDGs were established, and you can see in paragraph 42 and 64 that our voice as African was also included. in the 5 Ps of the SDGs. So you can see that especially SDG number 3 and SDG number 7, which ensure health lives and also clean and affordable energies, are really the most important with regard to this topic. Still on the policy framework, we can highlight the high fives for of the FDB group, and with all these policies, the SDGs, vision, the Agenda 2030 and the African Agenda 2063, together with the FDB group policies, the African leaders in general have made clear their commitment to attain exclusive and sustainable economic growth for the development of Africa, focusing on achieving universal energy access for underpinning resilience and prosperous economies. So we can continue by just highlighting the common 6 source of energy, renewable energy. I cannot just talk about them. Our speakers here, we just take us through them. And we have also some green initiatives in Africa. We have the Auda NEPAD initiative on African Power Vision. We have the African Union Renewable Energy Initiative. We have also the FDB New Deal on Energy for Africa. All these are the initiatives that are put together, and some money put in to just develop the Africa renewable and energy efficiency initiatives. And now the benefits of renewable energy. We have, as everyone in the world is trying to reach the SDGs, the goals, Global Sustainable Development Goals. Now, Africa is also much aware and trying to strengthen the existing initiatives on the continent. So the benefits are just many. We can just see on the economic growth how this will create jobs, also on the trade balance, socio-economic outcomes. We have some barriers, though. We have those barriers related to conventional sources of energies. Some of the capital or the high price of fuels, and also some capital markets. We can also look at the technologies and financing risk. We also have to relate all this to our goals under the FCFTA agreement. We see that the FCFTA protocol on investment provides several mechanisms for African countries to achieve the green transition. So we have some mechanisms that include mostly the promotion of investment in the green sectors to facilitate technology transfer, develop green investment standards, and encouraging regional cooperation. We will also have in this webinar through our speakers some insights on the ARSO initiatives in collaboration with the Oil Sustainability Program through GSO and SASO. We are collaborating in harmonizing standards for clean cooking fuel energies under these 3 technical committees, and we will have more deep insight from our speakers on the same. And we are, this is again one of the the initiatives are us at ASO. We have collaborated with ANSI, and thank you Nancy, for being with us today. We will have some information, useful information from our speaker. And these are some of the work we have been carrying out with ANSI, in partnership with ANSI. So I thank you for now following. So this is just the objective of our webinar. After hearing all this, we have some specific objectives, which are just to facilitate understanding of Africa's industrialization potentials through green industrialization and renewable energies, to facilitate a better understanding of the potentials of the renewable energy and clean fuel solutions and technologies in Africa, and create awareness on opportunities under the AFCFTA. We also highlight various supply barriers to clean fuels, and also this intends to motivate stakeholders and policymakers, including NSBs, national standard bodies, and private sector to facilitate policies. So thank you very much. Now I'm now introducing our speakers. Myself, I'm Nadine Mutoni. I introduced myself in the beginning. I don't think it's necessary to go through details about me. So our first panelist is Mr. Peter Wayaki, who is an energy system dynamics and design expert. And Peter has been with us since 2 years or 3 years. He will tell us more, but he has been he had a proven track record on research analysts. He's a research analyst at Madras Energy Consortium. So Peter today is going to talk about the renewable energy transition, reducing the dependence on traditional fossil fuel by harnessing Africa's renewable energy potentials and intra and inter-region power pools, while facilitating clean fuel solutions for cooking products and processes, and energy trade among African countries, and the role of standardization and quality assurance. So Peter is here with us. I stop here, then we give him time. Peter, you are given 5 minutes to make your presentation, and later on we will give you another time to respond to some questions. Thank you very much. Let me stop sharing, then you can share your screen. Thank you. Mr. Wayaki, kindly take the floor.
Thank you, Nadine, for the introduction. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. Please put it on the presentation mode.
Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peter Wayaki. I'm from the ARSO Central Secretariat, and today I'll be discussing on the role of ARSO in addressing the energy deficit in Africa through the harmonization of standards in the clean energy solutions, which by extension meets the specific targets of SDG 3 and SDG 7, respectively. So for those of us who are new here, I'll give a brief introduction on the African Organization for Standardization, ARSO, which is Africa's intergovernmental standards body, which was formed by the AU and the UNECA in 1977 in Ghana. ARSO engages in the harmonization of standards and the development of conformity assessment procedures. And currently, ARSO has 43 African governments as member states, which are represented by the national standard bodies. The vision of ARSO is to be an excellent standardization institution that promotes quality culture in support of trade, industrialization, and a sustainable development in Africa. Some of the ARSO mandates, as per the constitution, is to harmonize national and region and sub-regional standards as African standards, while encouraging and facilitating adoption of international standards to member bodies. Also, ARSO is mandated to coordinate the views of its members at an international level. So I'll go ahead and give a statistical review of Africa's energy deficit. And Africa is the continent with the lowest rates of energy access globally. And this is illustrated with by the map, as you can see in the top right corner, where it gives the global access to clean cooking as of 2019. And you'll notice that of the 55 nations, 41 of them have a limited access to clean cooking, which translate to about 930 million Africans lacking access to clean cooking fuels. And this poses a twin challenge of developing the energy infrastructure in Africa while mitigating the global climate crisis that is affecting us all together. So Africa is the only region where the number of people who are using unclean cooking fuels is on the rise. And since 2000, there has been an increase of about 50%. Unfortunately, there are more than 490,000 deaths that are recorded annually that are caused by polluting cooking fuels in sub-Saharan Africa. The bottom right corner, you will notice that there are two line graphs there. These ones are indicating the projections in terms of population growth in Africa compared to OECD countries. And you'll notice that by 2050, the population is expected to double, while by 2100 it becomes threefold. And therefore, this implies that the demand for cooking energy will increase. But we can harness Africa's energy potential in terms of gas, renewable energy, and clean cooking to resolve the energy deficit. Across Africa, the renewable resources vary immensely between countries, and a one-size-fits-all approach cannot reflect these differences. For example, we have biomass or renewable biomass, which contributes around 81.2% of the total primary energy demand in sub-Saharan Africa, excluding South Africa. What this implies is that the energy from biomass streams such as agriculture, forestry, and municipals can be used in waste-to-energy initiatives, and also tapping the arable land in sub-Saharan Africa can also provide a significant boost in the provision of sustainable bioenergy. When we look at biogas, on the other hand, it's a flexible substitute for non-renewable energy sources, and its main challenges will stem from mainly the poor design and the construction of the biogas systems, while and also the lack of maintenance by the users. Looking at the solar energy, which has immense potential in Africa, you'll notice that 5 out of the 10 countries which are ranked the highest globally in terms of solar potential, we have 5 of them coming from Africa, and Namibia is at the top. Solar energy is a variable renewable energy, which means that it is seasonal and it has a lot of intermittency in it, which implies that there is a need for incorporating storage in the systems. But we look at the LPG as a transitional fuel, where you notice that to achieve the energy demand required to industrialize Africa, while achieving the Africa we want as outlined by Agenda 2063, we cannot eliminate fossil fuels completely. So natural gas, which is the least polluting fossil fuel, can serve as a transitional fuel in the short and medium term of the energy transition. And it's not only abundant, in Africa, it can also become accessible and affordable to the Africans. And what you'll notice is from the top right graph is Africa's natural gas available reserves, which are distributed across Africa adequately. And as of 2020, Africa's gas reserves were around 455.2 trillion cubic feet. And the recent discoveries from Mauritania and Senegal accounted for 450 billion cubic meters of natural gas reserves. Unfortunately, despite all this high potential, most of the gas produced in the continent is exported. And a good example is Mozambique, which you can see at the bottom right, where Mozambique has a production of around 30.5 trillion cubic meters in terms of the reserves. And in 2019, they produced 58.4 billion cubic meters and exported 45.8 of the same. This translates to around 75% of the total LPG available. But looking at the statistics within the country, you'll notice that the gas contributes only 6.7% of the domestic energy supply, and 95.1% of the population does not have access to clean energy. At the same time, you'll notice that 70.4% of the population is without access to electricity. Notably, we still don't have adequate intra-regional trade when it comes to LPG and other energies. But what is the role of standardization in resolving the Africa's energy deficit? Trade and industrialization are mutually exclusive aspects or events, and one aspect facilitates the occurrence of the other. And achieving the Vision 2063 of the Africa we want requires a robust quality infrastructure, which includes standards, technical regulations, conformity assessment procedures, metrology, and accreditation. The quality infrastructure provides a bridge between market and the industry, and you will notice that standardization will play a big role in accelerating Africa's energy access through the facilitation of market access of the LPG and the renewable energy solutions we have available in Africa. Additionally, it will ensure that the economies of scale are reached for the new technologies, and the fitness of purpose for the clean energy technologies is facilitated through standardization. Standards will also encourage the diffusion and knowledge transfer across the continent, while enhancing consumer protection in terms of health and safety of use. By extension, the Sustainable Development Goals that are addressed through the harmonization of standards in Africa include the good health and well-being, which is captured in SDG 3, where the number of deaths and illnesses from air pollution will reduce. Additionally, affordable and clean energy access will be availed, as outlined in SDG 7, and therefore the increased energy access will improve Africa's agricultural potential, the educational standards, the healthcare and transportation facilities across the continent. ARSO, being a standardization organization, is playing a key role in enabling clean access across the continent. And we noticed that without harmonization of standards, there exists a technical barrier to trade. So some of the ARSO initiatives are the ARSO ANSI webinars, as highlighted by Nadine earlier, which have taken part across from 2022 to 2023. Currently, ARSO is cooperating with the Oil Sustainability Program and the GCC Standards Organization in the harmonization of standards for clean cooking fuel energies, where we have specific technical committees such as ARSO TCT 67, which deals with the equipment for petroleum and petrochemical and natural gas systems. We have the Bioenergy and Biogas Technical Committee 68, while solar thermal systems and equipment are handled in TC 70. So as a result of these initiatives that ARSO is undertaking, We encourage the following three C's in terms of competition, where they will have increased end user demand for the clean stoves and fuels that are produced across the continent. Conformity, which will enable support of sustainable growth market as well as for the clean cooking systems. There is also the aspect of connectivity, where we'll remove the supply barriers to clean fuels for cooking across Africa. Thank you for your attention and for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wayaki, for a very good presentation, which gives the standardization initiatives. And now I can tell the audience that if you have some questions, you can just type in the chat. But myself, I have something to ask to Mr. Wayaki. I have two questions, but I can just start with one. And after the response, I will ask you another one. What are maybe let me ask both at the same time, then you respond. So what are the regulatory bottlenecks that may be impeding Africa's renewable and clean energy solutions and revolution? That's the first. So the second is, what is the importance of ARSO's initiatives, as you have just highlighted, in the harmonization of the regulatory framework for this particular sector? Yeah, thank you, Mr. Wayaki. If you can respond quickly to gain on time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nadine, for the questions. In response to the first question, although we have some regulatory reforms and initiatives such as the African Clean Energy Corridor, we have the African Single Energy Market, which are good initiatives, but we lack clear-cut policies on the development of the promotion of clean energy technologies. And what this implies is that we have a limited cross-border collaboration across Africa. We also have restricted access to resources and expertise, as well as the proliferation of the various renewable technologies being of poor quality and safety. And as a result, we have some limited or low investment in the clean energy technologies that are coming up. But in addition, or in transition to the second question, through standards harmonization and the development of conformity assessment procedures, we notice that we'll have common rules, common guidelines, and common characteristics of the technologies that are coming up. And this will give safety. It will assure safety, and it will ensure that the products and services are performing as expected. And this ultimately increases the level of safety, the level of accessibility of the various technologies, and ensuring quality across Africa. Thank you, Nadine.
Yeah, thank you very much, Peter, for highlighting the importance of harmonized standards. And if I understood it well, the harmonized standards will be taken care of in the regulations once they are adopted, so that you can understand if all the countries have adopted the same standards, the regulations will also be harmonized. Thank you very much. I have seen another question in the chat. If the committees are operational, the three TCs, maybe you can talk about, if you want, what I know, because I am here as the representative of the Secretary General of ARSO. I can also respond to this question. We have three technical committees that are involved, not only three, but mostly. We have started working through virtual meetings, establishing the necessary items that need harmonization. We have worked with the GSO and SASO in also identifying other international standards that can be adopted by African countries. So we are operational, and if there is a country that would like to join, we are still open because we haven't reached another level. So we are still, thank you very much, Adelaide, for asking this question. In case of any member states that would like to join the TCs, there is a way of expressing interest through the normal channels of communication. Thank you very much. So I can now say thank you, Mr. Wayaki, for giving us good information. So I can, on our program, we have another speaker who is going to give us, let me share my screen. Sorry. Let me share my screen for the second presenter. I'm sorry for. Sorry, I'm stopping sharing so that I can share. Mr. Gerard, I can share to introduce you. Sorry for the inconvenience. This is, sorry. This is Mr. Gerard. Mr. Gerard Ostema. I'm really sorry if I pronounced it in a way that is not appropriate. He currently serves as the manager, Clean Energy Ministerial Biofuture Campaign in the USA, and he previously Dr. Ostema served as a science advisor for the U.S. Department of the Agriculture, during which time he contributed to finalizing the Global Bioenergy Partnership indicators of sustainable bioenergy production and use. He has a PhD in molecular biology from the University of Oregon and did postdoctoral work in cancer systems biology at MIT. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Ostema, and we are really thankful for this, and I can now giving you the floor so that you tell us more on clean and affordable renewable cooking energy. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nadine. It's a pleasure to be back. I spoke with the ARSO community in November, and I'm very happy to support your work and to give you an update on some very interesting developments in the international space. And again, I think that both, as I said in the chat, I think both you and Peter did a very nice job of describing the challenges and describing the role that ARSO can play in overcoming those challenges. So I'm going to be talking to you today about clean ethanol cooking. I want you to know that ethanol cooking is an effective alternative for the unsustainable use of biomass. That clear industry standards, as described very well by Peter, clear industry standards will enable growth. Clean ethanol cooking is becoming a bigger priority in the international community, and that there are a number of tools that exist to help Africans increase ethanol production and use on the continent. As was mentioned earlier, but I think that this is a very powerful image. Unfortunately, Africa is failing to achieve clean cooking access. We've seen a lot of uptake of LPG. It was described as a bridge fuel by Peter, and it has led to recent increases in clean cooking access in Asia. And at the moment, ethanol cooking is underrepresented in global climate discussions. So this figure comes from a report that came from the International Energy Agency last July. And if we look at, for example, India, what we see in the purple is that almost 300 million people switched and started using LPG and natural gas for clean cooking. And there was a decrease. So on the left, we have negative numbers. There was a decrease in the use of traditional biomass in India. If we look at the African situation, what we see is that there was a decrease in the use of coal and kerosene, which is good news, but there was an increase in the use of biomass, in addition to the unsustainable biomass, in addition to the increase in a modest increase in some of the other technologies like LPG and natural gas. As was mentioned earlier, clean ethanol can contribute to a number of sustainable development goals, including, and very importantly, strengthening agriculture. So there's a basic misunderstanding that somehow if we use ethanol for cooking, that this will somehow compete with food. Turns out the world doesn't work that way. Instead, if we give a clear demand signal, we give a clear reward to farmers, the investments will be made and farmers will produce more food. And as has been seen, whether it's in Thailand, India, Brazil, or the United States, when ethanol is used for industrial purposes or for fuel purposes, it results in massive investment in the ag sector and massive improvement actually in food security. Brazil, surprisingly, used to be a food insecure country in the 70s, and in no small part because of their investment in agriculture. They're now one of the top food exporters in the world. This is a very detailed slide, but I just want you to know that a number of people have thought very deeply about how to create high-functioning ethanol supply systems. And so this involves combining analysis of what crop is best for which country or which region, aligning the ag sector with energy policy, aligning that with the electricity sector in order to drive the changes that we want to see. And where we are now in many sub-Saharan African countries, all that's needed is very clear market demand and profitable business models. As has been discussed, technical standards are essential to mature the ethanol sector in countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Harmonized standards for clean ethanol cooking would help facilitate quality control, consistent production, and increase trade opportunities. And actually, based on Peter's remarks, I would actually add safety, because that is extremely important. So an ASTM standard has been developed, and my understanding is that Pivot is working, which is a nonprofit. Pivot is working closely with ARSO to ensure that ASTM is being adopted across countries of sub-Saharan Africa. Now, what my role in the world is I help enable interactions between industry and international processes. And what this busy slide, what I want you to take away is that there's been a number of developments, some as recently as COP28 in December, where international organizations are really pushing. There's a new push on clean cooking, not just for ethanol, but all clean cooking technologies. And very excitingly, the International Energy Agency is hosting a summit on clean cooking in Africa in May. And this summit is really focusing the attention of the world. And I think additional resources will become available to groups like ARSO to drive adoption of clean cooking technology. And I encourage ARSO to track all of these activities. In addition, it's not going to stop in May. In fact, Brazil is hosting the G20 this year, and Brazil has made it very clear that the equitable energy transition is going to be a focus of their G20 presidency, including accelerating the clean cooking transition. As I mentioned, there are a great number of resources available from international technical agencies, UN Food and Agriculture Organization, Global Bioenergy Partnership, International Energy Agency cooperation programs, International Renewable Energy Agency, and UNIDO, of course. And so there are tools, there are people that are very interested in overcoming this problem, and I can be reached at through this email address, and I'm happy to support the ARSO community, and I'm very active in helping these groups to engage with industry. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Hostin. Sorry. We are
Ostheimer.
really
Okay, thank you.
great. Hostima. Okay, we are really very grateful for your presentation. Actually, we have noted the indication of activities that also should track, and it is really necessary to engage you because you are a very resourceful person, and I thank you for providing your details so that anyone who can who wants to improve can reach you out for further advice. So I also have a question for you too. With regard, yes, we know you have talked about the policies and some opportunities, but we want to know more the existing policies. Maybe you can highlight the very important policies and opportunities to unlock Africa's renewable energy, focusing on ethanol. Yeah, that
Absolutely.
one.
So maybe some of you have heard of this. They are very active in Nairobi, and they're expanding into Rwanda, but there is a company called Cocoa Networks, KOKO, that is focused on the retail of the ethanol. And so they have achieved sales of ethanol now to over 1 million households in Nairobi, and they have plans to expand into additional markets. And I work closely with them, and they've made it very clear to me that ethanol market is not a high margin market. There's a lot of competition, but at the moment it is cheaper to sell the ethanol and the ethanol stoves than charcoal. So that's good economically, but they've made it very clear that what needs to happen is that a lot of countries in sub-Saharan Africa have laws that only consider ethanol as a beverage. And as a result, there's tax policy and there's import tariffs on ethanol that are not quite appropriate for ethanol as a clean cooking fuel. And something I didn't say in my presentation is that ethanol as a fuel, it has an additive that makes it's absolutely impossible to drink. It's no longer drinkable, and you can't, because of the chemistry, you can't really purify this additive out. I mean, it's a very noxious chemical. And so the ethanol as fuel is actually a very different product than ethanol as beverage. And so one of the most important things that could happen is that sub-Saharan African countries could make very straightforward changes to their tax and tariff policy that would enable initially the growth of ethanol cooking, which would then enable improvements in their own domestic agricultural sectors. That, of course, is very, very helpful to growing the economies and meeting the food security needs of African countries. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I've also seen that in the chat, Cocoa Network is also looking to work in Malawi. So it's not only Nairobi, and we thank you very much for this information. I have another one, which is just to tell us and to advise us on the best lesson that Africa can learn from other successful stories in this particular area of bioethanol. What can we learn?
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you say that again? I was distracted by the chat.
You are reading. You are reading the chat.
So say that again.
Okay, thank you. I was just asking for advice. What can you advise Africa? What can we learn from other successful stories?
Well, I would, like I said, my main advice at this point is actually to connect your work with some of the work of these international processes, because to be honest, the only reason that there is not more ethanol production in Africa is, well, one, you need the standards, but number two, it really comes down to price. And what we need is a situation where we move together so that we have clear demand signal so that we can put in the investment and we can improve the ethanol production and logistics domestically within sub-Saharan African countries. And you can look to India and you can look to Brazil for exchange of South-South exchange of knowledge. And I'm working with all of them, and we're very actually excited by the movement that we're seeing, but working better and more openly with groups like ARSO, like the African Union, and more country level groups is what is needed to really move forward. So thank you for the chance to share this message.
Thank you very much, sir. We have really appreciated, and everyone, you can see in the chat, they are very interested in the topic. I think they will engage you later on separately from this Zoom webinar. Thank you very much.
I would, if I could, very briefly, for Mohammed, who just commented on Ghana, I would encourage Ghana to move away from cassava because of some of the properties of the crop, and to move and consider other feedstocks. But I'm happy to take that offline. So thank you, Nadine, and have a wonderful conference or discussion today.
Thank you very much for that advice. Maybe they can move from cassava as a food crop to an industrial product.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please stay connected. We will have you at the end with a takeaway message. Thank you very much. So let us jump to our third speaker. Sorry, let me share the screen to introduce him. Okay. Okay, our third speaker, panelist, is Engineer Ali Al-Gamidi, Senior Specialist Standards at the Standard and Metrology Directorate at the GSO. Engineer Ali is a senior standard specialist, as I have just said. He worked in the private sector, where he supervised many projects and was an inspector engineer at the Saudi Aramco before joining the GSO in 2010. He is representing the GSO Technical Committee for Chemical, Textile, Oil, and Gas, and Cosmetics, in addition to representing the authority in specialized event in chemical, oil, gas, and cosmetic sectors. He holds a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from King Saud University in 2005, Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So Engineer Ali Al-Gamidi is now talking to us on the role of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, in scaling up Africa's green energy and modern, clean, and efficient cooking fuel transition for reliable, sustainable, safe, and affordable energy. He will also give us some lessons to learn from current and past initiatives with respect to technologies, utilization, equipment, access, regulations, and standards. Thank you very much for joining us, sir, and take the floor.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Can I get the share, Nadeem, please?
Yes, kindly share if you have the right. Is it possible for you to share?
Yes, it's possible. Just a minute.
That's perfect.
Let me check. Is it clear now?
Yes, we can see it clearly.
Actually, I would like to thank the Secretary of ARSO for this invitation for GSO for this and also be a panelist in this webinar. Actually wanted to share in this presentation the role of GSO for harmonizing standards. So I'll be focusing in this presentation about the regulatory and the standards, which is approval in GSO and GSO, and also the cooperation between us and ARSO. Also, I wanted to appreciate the cooperation between GSO and ARSO and OSB and SASO for this initiation about the clean cooking solutions initiation, which is started from 28th General Assembly event ARSO that's held in July 2022 in Cameroon, which we present that initiation about the clean cooking solutions, which is started, negotiated, and discussing with ARSO after that meeting for initiate or harmonize the standards between the GSO and ARSO and the clean kicking solutions. Also, personally, I wanted to thank the Secretary of ARSO and his team for active in the success of the work so far. Let us talk about the GSO. GSO is a regional standards which having the GCC country plus Yemen, and you can see in the graph all the 6 countries plus Yemen, and also you see the designation of the national standard body in each in each country, the national standard body designation, which is on the left of our member states. So our goal to unify the standards in all GCC country to be one single market for the GCC country. So the GSO is it's the same situation of ARSO, which is a regional standard body. And GSO, actually, we are adopting around 27,000 standards, which is held in many sectors, and we will talk about it in the next slide. But the important things about the standards and technical regulation, you can see in the left graph, the 1,188 technical regulation, which is forced in each of our member states. So, and the last, it's a standard which is optional. And also you can see in the circle on the down, most of this standards, about 63%, which is adopted from ISO, 20% is adopted from SEN, and also from the codex in food sectors, and only 8% it's prepared by GSO, and 5% which is adopted from another organizations. And these things what I present here to focus how many the harmonized standards, most of around 92% of our standard, which is harmonized with international and regional standard. So you can see in this diagram, in this graph, this 27,000 standard, which is covered around 10 sectors, which we covered in this 27,000 standards. For example, chemicals 23, mechanicals 32, oil and gas is 5% of that standard. It's in oil and gas sector. So from where we started to adopt that standard, we started to adopt that standard from our technical committees. We have 18 technical committees and around 10 subcommittees and many working groups. We have it in GSO. For example, TC1, it's chemical and textile products, which is secretariat by Emirates, and we'll talk about the technical structure, technical committee structure in the next slide. Second is mechanical, third is chemical, number six is construction, oil and gas, number seven. For example, number 10 is water protection, transport and distribution. TC12 is cosmetics, safety of toys, TC14. So each of the technical committee, what's the structure of the technical committee, how these technical committees work. We have technical committee guidance for the which is published in our website, which can be also controlling all the work of the technical committees. And each committee, which I mentioned in the last two slides, it's having same structures. So the president, it will be one of our member state, Mr. Member State. It will be the president and secretary, and all the countries. It's having one share in and that's that committee, which is maybe they will participate all observer, but they are one of our member in that technical committee, which ensuring that unified standards studied by all member states. And also we have GSO representative in each country to control the work which is under the guidance. So how this technical committee is working, starting by propose the new standards. Also we can share that also with our stakeholders. They can propose the standards through our online systems and also by technical committees which have a relation with the market and they're focusing on the standards. So they propose the new standards. Then after that plan is approved, we started the committee draft, then draft standards, which became more than one version, depend about the discussion inside the technical committee. And after that, we'll go for the final draft standards and the approval stage. So each of our standards, 27,000 standards, is taking that path for approval. Also, we have online system similar to another organization system which can be distributed over the document, and also there is also chatting. They can also share the discussing and also share the knowledge and also the document from that online system. So after the approval stage, so when it's the approval, so that standards which will having, for example, like ISO 9001, which is approved in 2015 by GSO, and each of our member states will add them designation with same numbering of the GSO, and also it will be replace any national standards if it's approval by GSO, which is ensuring the unified standard between the GCC country. And for the technical regulation, we need to notify our member state and also our stakeholders for 6 months before starting the forcing of technical regulations. So we finished the standardization point of view, and we will talk about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and which we started working with ARSO for the clean cooking solutions. So Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has committed to provide clean cooking solution through the global initiative which is endorsed in G20 Saudi initiative of energy access and clean cooking. Saudi's KSA, he's committed to providing supporting of energy access and clean cooking, and that's Middle East Green Initiative, launching the global initiative improving access to clean cooking by 75 million people by 2030. And the benefit of this initiative, it's the improving quality of life, also supporting target country to economic growth, reducing the CO emission, and which is the main issue now with the COP, the CO2 emission, and also scale the international cooperation. So this is the initiation by Saudi Arabia, and also this initiation also adopting with GSO standards and harmonize that to enable also by ARSO to enable regulatory landscape plays HAG rules, harmonize the African standard with the GSO standard, and this is the role of GSO and also Saudi standard, which is calling SASO, for sharing the standard between and also harmonize the standards for the clean fuel solutions. And also in last years, actually, we have many meetings with the teams of ARSO to having a schedule for adopting that standards by ARSO, and also we are working with the TC 67 by ARSO and TC 68 and 70. We start working for harmonize the standards. Actually, we have a list of the standards which we will working with the ARSO for harmonize the standards adopted by ARSO. And this is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Engineer Ali. We really appreciated your information with regard to the process of standard harmonization at the GSO and the relationship and the cooperation we have in harmonizing the LPG standards. So I can ask you one question, if you don't mind. This is yeah, this is just on the best lesson that we can learn. No, it's just yes, you have just talked about the best lesson learned, but you can also highlight them as you can also talk about the regulations on standards in exploiting the technology opportunities in the LPG sector. I think I'm clear on that, or I should.
No, can you repeat the question, please?
Okay. The question is what is the role of regulations and standards in exploiting the technological opportunities in the LPG for reliable, sustainable, safe, and affordable energy?
Actually, as I mentioned in my presentation, the harmonizing of standards, which is minimize the technical barriers for the trade. It will be the solution for minimize and also be sensible. For the technical for the sensible, safe for energy and clean cooking solution. The harmonization, and as I mentioned in the second in my presentation, the GSO actually they are focusing for adopting harmonized standards and don't go out of that one only in special cases, because to need to minimize the technical barriers. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for this. And in case of any question, I can read it in the chat. I can read it for you. Okay, there is a question from Sustain Chigalu. Is there any work that ASO or GSO is doing on hydrogen gas for clean cooking? Please share the insights.
Nadine, we just now we started working with the hydrogen fuel and also hydrogen clean cooking. But in these times, we still not having that much standard about it, and also we will focus at that in 2024. We'll focus to at least working in that field in our technical committee and GSO technical committee. So until now, we still not having that much standard in that field, and but we are focusing in 2024 to started working in the new project in that one.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And we will also share the information you provided us with, like the presentation. We will share it with the audience. Thank you very much, sir. And also stay connected. Before we close, we will give you another 1 minute for a takeaway message. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I can now welcome our last speaker, panelists. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. Okay. So today, again, we are having Mr. Estas Njero, who is the Energy Efficiency Officer at the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority in Kenya. He's currently an Energy Efficiency Officer, as I have just said, and the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, formerly Energy Regulatory Commission in Kenya, is a state corporation established under the Energy Act of 2019. This is an information to just make us aware and make us understand what this institution is. So I can just tell you that Mr. Njeru is talking about the potential for biogas to provide clean energy supplies in Africa. What are the barriers and what is the role of standard and regulation to overcome them? This is what he's going to focus on during his presentation. Let us welcome him in this webinar and give him the floor to tell us more. Welcome, sir. Hello, Mr. Njeru. Are you around? Okay. Could you please unmute? We cannot hear you. Yes.
Okay, it's unmuted now.
Okay, that's perfect.
Let me share. Can you see my? Let me share my. Share window. Can you see my screen?
Sorry, not yet. We cannot see it. If your presentation is open, then you just click on it to come. Okay. We are just seeing your screen. Mm-hmm.
Can you see it now?
No, we are seeing your screen, like your Zoom screen. What if you click on your presentation if it is open? When you click on share, you will see like windows, so many windows, then you will click on your presentation. You
So
can
let me
just
start.
talk. Yes.
Share
Yes.
videos.
You will have.
Can you see it now?
No, no. Maybe is it possible to share it with us? Then we share the screen for you.
Let me see.
We
Can you see
asked,
it now?
okay, now it is here. You can put in the presentation mode, then we see it fully.
Okay, as you have been told, my name is Eustace Muledi. I'll be sharing you mainly on the bioenergy guidelines, specifically which touches on the biogas to show the potential of the biogas and biofuels in Kenya, in the Africa. So you have the biofuel energy guidelines, and before that, I will just give a small background of the feed-in tariff for small renewable energy projects, and specifically for biogas. You find that a feed-in tariff is for biogas projects between 0.2 to 10 megawatts is 0.1 US dollars or 10 US dollar cents. And currently, as a percentage tariff of 15%, the minimum is capacity you can do is 0.2 megawatts, and the maximum for this tariff is 10 megawatts. The potential for biogas in Kenya specifically is allowed 1,000 megawatts, and the current installed capacity for electricity generation is 130 megawatts. But for cooking is just more than that, is around more than 500 megawatts, which it's not well documented. And in the biogas guidelines, we talk of biogas systems between for domestic and industrial. So there is developed. We have developed biogas guidelines for domestic systems and industrial systems. And mainly the scope of the guidelines touches on mainly the size and the business, where the smallest size is supposed to be 12 cubic meters. And the guidelines talk about the installation, distribution, and the selling of biogas. And for you to do that, you need the National Environmental Authority license, and you need to have what you call approved engineering drawings for you to be allowed to start the biogas business. And the distribution and the selling requirements, you need to have a written quality management plan for the biogas. You need to have a service contract between the applicant or between the person dealing with biogas and the person willing to buy, that's the consumer. And you have a valid fire certificate and an emergency response plan. Then distribution and sales requirements. You have customer complaints handling and certificate of compliance to the building code. Uh, on these guidelines, we are there to standards KS 2566, 2015, and 25, 2951, 2022 for domestic and commercial, which specifies the biogas consumption and site selection, and also specifies the cost optimization and safety consideration procedures. In this case, in this case, this one is supposed to you're supposed to give the standard, supposed to give the design and the requirements, and as you know, the standardization assists in ensuring harmony between the business to ensure that the quality of biogas is almost always the same throughout the country for proper design of the biogas components like the cookers and lights and also biogas generators and engines. So you also have the KS standards 26, 2566 and 25, 2951, which talks on risks assessment and evaluation based on the occupational and safety and technical aspects of the project. Also, they talk about the sizing and the layout of the components, such as the tank, pipes, biogas chambers, tanks and fittings, design and construction, testing and commissioning, then the guarantee and the management of waste and emissions. And in the standards development, you have developed those standards for biogas to ensure that the components like the biogas cookers, biogas lightings, generators, pipings, and the quality of biogas is maintained at a given quality throughout the, the biogas supply chain. And one of the main developments in this case is the development of the curriculum for training biogas installers to ensure that we exploit the 1,000 megawatts, which have the potential. There is also the need for training of biogas installers. And I can really assure you that the development of the curriculum has been one of the biggest milestones in the country. So, to be able to exploit this potential, or what you require basically is you need to express the interest. Like if you want to start a biogas electricity generation plants with the Ministry of Energy, and you give a detailed feasibility study, which is well developed in the standards. You do an environmental impact assessment, then you get approvals from the county governments, that's the regional governments, be able to exploit that. And you do the power purchase agreements, which is an easy thing. Then you get the approvals from the regulator, then the generation standards. So that is the process we have in Kenya for exploitation of the biogas. And the development of the standards and the regulations is to enable the exploitation of the biogas potential in Kenya. And one of the reasons we'd like to have biogas is because of its availability from various sources, from various feedstocks. That is like agricultural waste, human waste and animal waste, and also industrial waste. Those are my contacts, if you wish. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks.
Mm. Thank you very much, Mr. Njeru. We really appreciate. We have noted good progress on your side in Kenya. I think it is inspiring other countries, or also other representative of other countries who are here with us can just pick one or two standards that can be replicated at their site, or how maybe NSPs can collaborate to have a standard through ARSO. You know, we have also seen that we have some standards that maybe can be um, harmonized at continental level from Kenya. And also, thank you very much for highlighting that the regulations and standards are developed to enable the exploitation of the biogas. And thank you for concluding with the approval process of the exploitation. So thank you very much. I also encourage people to send some questions if they have through the chat, as as I also asked you, Sam, I have two questions. One, why biogas? Why do you focus on biogas when when considering Africa's clean and efficient cooking fuel transition? That is one of my questions. The second one is on the key role of standards and regulation in overcoming the barriers associated with gas to provide clean energy supplies. I know you have just talked about it, but maybe you can see if there is something very important and key that you've forgotten in this regard. Thank you.
Okay, the first one is on why biogas, when it comes to clean cooking and the efficient fuel transition in Africa. One of the reasons is biogas can be made available in homes, both in rural areas and in towns, because of the nature of its source. In rural areas, for example, for those people who are practicing agriculture, they have animals like cows, pigs, chicken, and the animal waste and the feedstock can form a very good feedstock for biogas, especially animal waste from cows and sometimes chicken. The availability of the feedstocks is one of the reasons why we focus on biogas. The other one is it's clean, it's renewable, and it doesn't pollute the environment. The other one is we have the availability technology for biogas is already developed to come up with clean biogas from the digesters, which can be constructed on sites. Also we have prefabricated small biogas digesters. The other reason is you can also get biogas at any size, both domestic and for industrial purposes. Especially you can also get biogas from municipal waste, where you can build big power plants to develop biogas. So those are some of the major reasons why we prefer promoting biogas. And the last one is currently, as you have seen, we have trained several biogas installers and biogas technicians who can be able to promote the success of biogas in the country. The other one is on the issue of standardization. The key role of standards and regulations in overcoming barriers associated with biogas to provide clean energy supplies. One of the major things which affects any sector of business is whenever we have materials and the components which are not homogeneous or which are not regularized. So by coming up with standards, various standards for various equipments, like for example, biogas digesters, if it's prefabricated, we come up with standards for prefabricated biogas digesters. The other one is the biogas components like cookers, lights, biogas generators, regulators, desulfiers. If we have them standardized, it's able to they can be accommodated at different, or we can have exchange. If you develop a biogas system, it's very easy to install an already prefabricated cooker or light. At the same time, these cookers will come up with various requirements for the quality of biogas, and that's why we need standards so that you can be able to have specific quality of biogas in terms of cleanliness and the level of, like, say, sulfur, hydrogen sulfide, so that you can be able to construct equipments which will be able to accommodate such kind of the quality of biogas required in a particular country. The regulations, as I've talked, or currently what you have is not exactly regulations, but what we call regulation guidelines. They are important to ensure that it's an easy way of assisting people doing business in biogas, to ensure that there is a clear business and the contract between the suppliers of biogas and the consumers of biogas services. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for that the explanations. I can also see two questions in the chat. Maybe you have touched it. You have touched on it. It's on packaging. How efficient is the technology for packaging the biogas? Is it as the normal gas we know? How is it efficient? You kindly talk about it. That is one. I think you can also see the chart. The other one is how can we, according to this meeting, encourage researchers to work in biogas research, maybe to document those. Yeah, please tell us on these two
On
briefly
the
because
issue
time is running.
on the issue of packaging, the technology has not been properly developed, and currently it's a bit expensive to package biogas because you have to do an energy balance to see how much energy do you require to compress biogas into a given cylinder and transport it to a given site. So as of now, the technology is not fully developed for packaging biogas, as it requires a lot of energy to compress it, for example, compared to LPG and other natural gases. So on the issue of packaging, there's a bit of a challenge. And the other one is how can we encourage researchers to work on biogas research? That's what you're asking. In promoting, how can we
Yeah,
encourage?
they okay. The researchers. How can you
Uh,
recommend to researchers? Yeah,
okay, on the issue of research, you see, research is continuous, and they would like to encourage researchers to continue uh, doing more research on how we can be able to promote the biogas and develop various ways of ensuring that it is properly used, like the area of packaging, which is not yet well developed. The other one is also the research on various feedstocks and see how we can use them to ensure on what can be done to ensure that they produce optimum amount of biogas, especially the agricultural waste. So it's good for research to continue because it's not exhaustive, and we find that one of the biggest challenges is how to get optimum biogas from various feedstocks, and yet we have a lot of feedstocks, especially in the case of flower farms. We have a lot of feedstocks, but they are not able to get a lot of to get enough biogas. The other one also says to continue research on how we can get like biogas from landfills and the areas of municipal waste. That one is also a key thing. So it's an area which is open to research and it's not yet fully developed.
yeah. Thank you very much for indicating the some areas that researchers can focus on. I think this other question, look, it's about now. Therefore, how can we make clean cooking solutions affordable for low income communities? Do you, because you work with farmers, you know, maybe apart from biogas you may be having other information on other sources of energy. Could you respond to this briefly?
Biogas is one of the main cheap, affordable cooking solution, clean cooking solution for farmers, like in Kenya and rural areas, because you find that most of the families in rural areas have one or two or three cows. They keep goats, they keep chicken, and most of the time they throw the animal waste to to farms before it is fully decomposed. And by using the biogas digesters, which are affordable, you can get gas for cooking and get the fertilizer for the farm. So that is one of the things. What is required is to to intensify and improve our designs. Our biogas digester is designed to improve on that. The other one is if we can assist farmers to come with because there is a lot of waste wood sometimes which goes into rust. If we can improve on the gasification of some of the agricultural waste, like for example, coffee prunings and the tea prunings, which can be used for cooking. And the other one is development of efficient cookers or efficient cooking stoves, which can be used by people almost everywhere, even rural areas and towns, which have less emissions and which use less firewood or fuels.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And whoever wants to get some more clarification, we share your presentation. I've seen that it has your email address, so he may contact you through that email. And now, because you have the mic, I can give you 1 more minute to just tell us what we can take away home. What is the main message you want us to take home?
The main message to take home is to see on how we can harmonize the equipments for which use biogas. For example, cookers, lightings, and say like small biogas engines which can be used for generating power. And by developing various standards for these equipments. The other one is developing standards and for biogas upgrade. At what quality do we get from these biogas? Because currently we are talking more on the biofuels. If we can be able to develop the minimum standards of the biogas quality, it can be of help to farmers. The other one is various policymakers and various governments should uh, should provide money for research on biogas, especially in various areas, because different feedstocks give different yields of biogas, and different feedstocks require different ways of handling so that they can produce optimum biogas. Because you cannot handle like animal waste and the farm waste in the same way. So money for research is required for that so that you can improve green cooking. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much for this three key message you have given us on the side of standardizers, especially at continental level. We need to harmonize standards, focusing on the technology and upgrade of the quality, and also to the decision makers and also investors to put more money in research. Yeah. Thank you very, very much for your presence here with us. And I would like to also invite other panelists to give us some key message to take home. I can start with Mr. Wayaki. Peter Wayaki, what is your takeaway message? Kindly
Thank
take
you,
the
Nadine.
floor.
As a takeaway message from all the presentations we have had today is that Africa is on the rise, and the best way for us to leapfrog and get in line with the rest of the continents is by embracing the power of standards to help us move forward in terms of adoption of the new technologies and also improve the efficiency of the existing systems. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter, for now creating awareness on the importance of the use of harmonized standards, such as international standards, African standards, and as we have seen that we are in agreement, we are in cooperation with the GSO and other partners such as ANSI, ASTM, ISO, to just mention a few. Our partners, our members need to use the standards so that they can improve the quality and technology in this sector. Thank you very much. As now I can see Engineer Ali. Can I give you the mic? Are you ready to give us your takeaway message?
Yes, Nadine. Actually, from GSO, actually, we look forward to more cooperation with ARSO and clean cooking solution as a Saudi Arabia initiation. And also we are looking forward in cooperation in other sectors for harmonized standards. GSO, they have very good successful story in other sectors, and actually we wanted to. Saudi Arabia is leading the clean cooking solution, but actually we started working in other sectors, but we stopped, and this is the floor to talk about it. But we actually are working for the working. We are look forward to more cooperation and harmonized standards and other sectors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving us the clue on the Saudi Arabia role, big role in the clean cooking fuels. And we will learn from you. And I think that your partnership is really important for our member states. They need to know that we are really grateful for the support provided, such as technical knowledge, such as financial means in carrying out harmonization work. We are really thankful, and we hope that the cooperation will be strengthened all the years, even after harmonizing standards in this sector. We can engage ourselves in other sectors, as you have just mentioned. Thank you very much. And we are also going to receive a takeaway message from Dr. Gerard Osteimer. Dr. Osteimer, if you are still around, kindly take the floor and give us your takeaway message. Is Gerard still around? Okay. I think he's disconnected, but maybe we can. I can just give you some more information before we close. Why we are also waiting for him to reconnect. Yeah, I can just say that ARSO is preparing for a big event, which is the General Assembly. Let me share. Where is this? Okay, our General Assembly is taking place in Nigeria. It is the 30th ARSO General Assembly, and it will be having so many events, such as the Made in African Expo. It runs throughout the week. It is actually called ARSO Week. It will be in Abuja, Nigeria. It will be hosted by the Standards Organization of Nigeria from it is the week from 17th June. And that one, it will end on 22nd. It will also have the ARSO Council, which is always approving all the ARSO harmonized standards. And it also gives the guidance on the future work So the ASO General Assembly is mainly attended by all the ASO member states and other invited partners. Even the non-members are invited to attend this event. And again, we have the African Day of Standardization, which is also attended by everyone. It is normally hybrid, virtual and physical, where everyone is attending and following all the discussions as we visit the Made in Africa Expo. So I'm just informing you about this. And the next webinar is on it will be the 41st session. That is the 41st session. It will be on under the theme standardization and public policy. It will be on 28th February this year. You can see that we have all the months of this year. We have already taken the themes in support of what is already there in our member states, and our member states have a big role in preparing this and hosting these webinars. So see you. We look forward to host you again in February 28th. And if we have Gerard with us, we can hear from him, then we close our webinar of today. So I can ask Dan to check if Mr. Gerard is around for us. Dan, is he around? No, he's not around. He's disconnected. I would like us to open our cameras so that we can have a picture, a photo for souvenir while we are thanking our speakers, our panelists of today. I'm really grateful on behalf of the Secretary General. And, it is really not easy to compile the information, to make them fit the topics. You have really spent much time on this, and your dedication is really appreciated. So kindly let us go to the is it emojis? We clap for the speakers. Do you know where to go to clap? Who has gone there to clap? As we put on our cameras, we go to reaction where we have more, then we clap. Good. Thank you very much. I can ask our support team to tell us if the cameras are all opened. Have you taken the picture, Brian? Thank you. The picture. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. As we also clap for your attendance. Thank you. Bye-bye.